Alright, this is an overview of the training that we did out of the schools in September of 2015 on Canvas. The first part is on the gradebook passback. So if you go into one of the courses that you are a teacher of, and then you click on the assignments link on the left, even if it's gray, you can click on it. That's going to bring us up to assignments where we need to create assignment groups in order for the gradebook passback to work. So you're going to first create an assignment that is, a group name that is named formative. You do not have to put a percentage in. You're going to repeat this process and you're going to put in assignment groups for formative, summative, and for exam. And you'll see what we're going to do with these in a minute. You can move current assignments that you have down into those formative or summative categories. You don't have to do this because I'm sure you already have these assignments put into PowerTeacher at this point, but you can do that. Once you do that, if you want to delete that assignments group, you really won't need it anymore, you can delete it once nothing is in it. Alright, so now when we go to create a new assignment, and it'll work the same for quizzes and discussion boards, you notice that this assignment group that we've ignored in the past, we're not going to ignore anymore. You're going to choose formative or summative. There will be a little check mark here that will eventually show up once we get the gradebook passback going that will say post grades to SIS. Posting grades to SIS is sending them to Canvas. So if you uncheck that little box, that means it will not send the grades to PowerSchool. So you have an option to do that. You are required to have a due date. So you have to go down and have a due date for your sections. But you can, I'm going to go back on here, you can have different due dates for different sections. So for example, where I just was, if you click there, you can choose your A-Day sections. You can assign them a due date. Then you can click the Add button, and you can click on that, choose your B-Day sections, and have a different due date for them. You will see individual students in here, but you cannot have due dates for individual students. It's by section level only. So once you're ready to post grades to PowerSchool, you'll go to your gradebook, and then up here in the top you'll see there will be a little button up here that'll say either send grades or sync grades. You will click that button, and that will sync your grades from from Canvas over to PowerTeacher. It is a one-way passback. It doesn't come back from PowerTeacher to Canvas, but it will sync whatever you've told it to sync over. It'll create the assignment in PowerTeacher. It'll put it into that formative, summative, or exam category in PowerTeacher, and it will also send the grades over. It's not an immediate sync. It does it 3 times a day. I think the times are 3 p.m., midnight, and 9 a.m. So for example, if you hit the button to sync at 2:50 p.m., at 3 o'clock the grades would go over to PowerTeacher. If you hit the button at 3:05, they're not going to go over to PowerTeacher until midnight. Another tip is that if you override a grade in PowerTeacher, so if you go into PowerTeacher and you override a grade, let's say a kid made a 13 on a test in Canvas and you bump that up to a 50, it will not override that at the next Canvas sync. So if you go back in and sync the gradebook, send it over to PowerTeacher, it's going to keep that 50 in there. It knows to keep any manual overrides in PowerTeacher. So the student will still have the 13 showing in Canvas, but the 50 will stay there in PowerTeacher. Alright, our next topic is assignment groups explained. We had several questions at schools about the assignment groups in formative and summative, and some people had already created different assignment groups for units of study. So I just kind of wanted to explain to you a little bit about what assignment groups are used for in Canvas. I think there might be some confusion as to how they are used, and the easiest way for me to do this was to show you my Hines course. We really don't use assignment groups much in Rankin County other than now to have that formative, summative, and exam assignment group so that Canvas will know where to put that in PowerSchool. So I wanted to show you how it works for those that don't have other grade books. So at Hines, we don't have any other grade books out there. Canvas is our only grade book, and the only thing we do is post our final averages into a different system. So the reason for using assignment groups may make more sense if I show you this. So I'm going to go into my class that I teach for Hines, and then I'm going to go to assignments. In my assignments, I have a proctored exam category, and I have a weekly assignments. You'll see proctored exam is 60% of their total grade, so kind of like summative, and their weekly assignments are 40%, so again, like formative. So you can see I have a lot more weekly, but those proctored exams count more. How I organize my course is through modules. So I have a week 1, a week 2, a week 3, so forth on module. Most of you organize your modules by units of study. So that's how you're organizing your course. You really shouldn't be organizing all of that through assignment groups. My students, as you can see, can't even see the assignments link, so they wouldn't know how to organize anything through assignments. It's all organized through modules. So if I go in and view as a student, just to kind of show you what it looks like in a student view for them, I go into student view. They don't even see assignments. They just go to modules, and then they see it organized by weeks. Again, most of you would organize modules by units of study. So when a student goes and sees grades, they just see all of their grades, and at the bottom they see what their percentage is for proctored exams and what their weekly total percentage is. And so they see 60% of their grades coming from their proctored exams, which for us would be like summative, and then 40% is coming from their weekly assignments, which for us would be like formative. So just so you're aware of that, again, remind your students that they are not getting their average from Canvas. Their average comes from PowerSchool. So remember to enforce that there, because we're not using these percentages in Canvas, because Canvas can't handle first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, and term weights and all of that we do in K through 12. So just to keep that in mind, and I'll show you, I wanted to protect the names of the innocent. So these are my students' final grades here, and you can see they have their proctored exam percentage, their weekly exam or their weekly assignment percentage, and then what their total average is, much like what our students see in PowerSchool. All right, grading periods. This is a video that was included on my weekly tips last week. Oops. All right, so when you go into your course and go into a course that you are the teacher of, if you click on settings on the bottom left side, and then click on feature options on the top, you will turn on multiple grading periods. So if you flip that switch over to on, you can turn on multiple grading periods. And so when you go to grades, after you have it turned on, you will see that you can sort your grades by each 9 weeks. So that's going to help out students a lot. It's going to help you out starting 3rd and 4th 9 weeks when you have a lot of assignments and things in Canvas. It'll help you kind of organize that by 9 weeks, and those are set up by our current RCSD calendar. So just to show you how that'll work for students, I'm going to go into student view here, and then when they click on grades, they will be able to choose grades for each of the 9-week periods. So it'll just sort out older stuff for them, so they're not seeing so many grades in their grade section. All right, Canvas Commons. So this is something that came out last year with Canvas. It's in its infancy stage, so I want to warn you on that, but I wanted to show you a little bit about what Commons is. So if you click on the Commons tab at the top in the menu bar, you will see it come up to where you can find courses, modules, assignments, quizzes. I will caution you on courses. Don't import an entire course. Whoops. Went out of the thing there. I'm showing you an example of not perfect videoing. Don't import an entire course. It tends to take over your course, which is not always fun. You tend to get a lot of junk in there that you don't want to use, so be very wary about importing an entire course into your course. But you see there's all different kinds of things here, such as modules, assignments, discussions, pages. If we click on quizzes, you'll notice at the top you have an option of shared with. You will see public, Rankin County schools, and your school. I just happen to see all of them. Then you can go to grade level and choose what grade levels you want to search for. And then you can choose your subject area. I'm going to go ahead and choose math. So we have several options here, but I do see that there is a polynomials quiz. Unfortunately, I can't preview it, but here's a little trick on how to preview. If you click on import to course, you should see an option for your homeroom. So if you have a homeroom, you should see an option for homeroom. You're probably not using Canvas in homeroom. So use that as your course to preview assets from Canvas Commons. I'm going to click on ITD resources because that's my play course. So it says I've imported it to my course. So if I go to my ITD resources class and then I click on quizzes, I see that I have Unit 2 Polynomials Part 2 quiz. So I can click on that. I can click preview. And I can see a lot of stuff that I don't understand because I'm not a math person. But it's all built there for me. So you could use one of these questions. You could use all of these questions if you wanted to import that into your real course. Now, if you want to share a resource to Canvas Commons, so I'm going to click on my modules, and let's say I want to share this Canvas Training Notes module. Click on my gear on the right side and click on Share to Commons. I have to put all of the description in, the tags, the grade levels, the subject level. I have to do a thumbnail. They have built-in images for you for this. But then if I scroll to the bottom, I see I can share it only with me. Have no idea why you'd want to do that. Share it with Rankin County Schools, or I could share it with Rankin County Schools sub-accounts, and that's how you can share it to your school, to your individual school. All right. So if I go back into Commons, I'm going to show you an example of a school that has used Commons. So I go to Modules, and I'm going to go to Shared with Brandon Middle School. So there's a teacher at Brandon Middle that's created a How Do I module. So when you click on that module, you can see there are items in this module, so PDFs of instructions on how to do things. So any teacher at Brandon Middle can import that module into their course so that parents and students can see those tips and tricks. Now, once you share a resource out to Canvas, you can edit that resource later, or you could remove it from Commons. So once you put it up there, it's not up there forever. You do have the ability to remove it. Again, I say that Canvas is kind of in its, Canvas Commons is in its infancy. I can see later on where textbook companies or perhaps NASA, other educational institutions might build modules, assignments, even courses that could be shared up to Commons and then brought into your class. But this is something that was just released at the end of the school year last year. So I know it will grow and get even better. But right now it's a great way for you to share resources among people in your school or other teachers in the district. If you teach the same thing in the past, in order to get resources from each other, you had to be enrolled as teachers in each other's classes, and you had a course list that got to be a mile long when you did that. It also is a little scary giving somebody else access to your full course. We have had some instances where teachers have inadvertently deleted things in other teachers' courses, and we don't want that to happen. So this is a safe way to share information with each other by using Canvas Commons. All right, that's it for September Canvas updates. If you have any questions, again, always feel free to email me at aharris@rcsd.ms.